Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Advanced Leadership Training Call tonight with my lovely partner here, Judy Friesen, and of course my fiance Hannah. Give it a wave, Hannah. And we also have my sponsor all the way from Puerto Rico, Kai Jacobson, on this special call tonight. We've got Roger Corolla. Corolla, give us a wave. They're just one of our amazing Roger there, amazing managers here from Winnipeg that are just so devoted and always willing to assist and help. So I appreciate you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be on this call tonight. And if you're watching this via replay, get back with the person that invited you. We're in for a real treat tonight. We've got one of my personally sponsored amazing directors, Judy Friesen from Abbotsford, BC, that is with us tonight. And those that have followed Judy or are part of her team, they already know the amazing teachings that Judy has, and people have fallen in love with her patching protocols and just her willingness to always support and always help anybody who comes her way. But I always want to encourage the person that is reaching out to Judy, make sure you get with your sponsor first and ask them the questions and see if they can help you. And if you get stuck, well, there's always myself or Judy Friesen that's willing to help. So again, I want to just appreciate y'all for taking the time out. Now, we're pretty excited because we just came off of a record-breaking run here, and Judy and myself are working very hard on the Punta Cana trip, and we were cheering each other on as we were gathering Punta Cana points. So I'm so excited to be sharing some time with Judy in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, and that's coming up in November. So we're pretty excited about that. And we've got Dallas, we got the convention coming up next month, but so many things are happening in LifeWave. And before I introduce Judy and get her to come on and share what, the magic that she shares, the patching protocols and the pitfalls, the mistakes, and that people sometimes make with the patches, she's going to just really put you on a path that's really going to be absolutely amazing and help you. But before we do that, I would love a few words of encouragement from my wonderful sponsor in Puerto Rico, Kai Jacobson. So Kai, if you would unmute yourself and say hello to the audience in a little 30,000-foot view message, and a little hello would be great. Kai, the floor is yours, my friend.
Well, hi, everybody. My name's Kai, and I've been with the company for 20 years, actually, since it started. And I can say that right now is the most exciting time I've ever seen in the company. It's just massively growing, and so much more is in place. And our product line is so much stronger and even going to get much stronger soon. And you could not be in LifeWave at a better time. Just to give a little framework to that, I think it took the first 15 years of LifeWave to get to $3 million a month, to get to roughly, around $3 million a month in volume of business. And in the last, it might have been 16 years. So that's how much money was coming into the company that you had an opportunity to get a piece of. And now in the last 3 years, or actually, I'm sorry, my numbers are off here, actually. It's 2024. In the last 4 years, so up to 2020. So that really actually makes it 16 years. Yeah, it took to get to $3,000 a month, and in the last 4 years, we're up to $50,000 a month. So right now, there's $50,000 a month coming into the company. So it grew $46,000 a month in the last 4 years, as opposed to 16 years to grow to $3,000 a month. So we're in massive momentum. And when the tide rises like that, when the energy rises like that, all ships float, all boats float. And you have the ability now to have the opportunity, because that momentum's there, to get a bigger piece of, for the same amount of work that you do now, you can get 4 to 5 times the opportunity of generating income now than in the past. So it's a really exciting time. People think, oh, I got in late, it's been around so long. Well, I'm really proud to say that I do very well. And I have at least 25 people now that have become millionaires in my personal line of sponsorship. I'm saying millionaires per year. They're making over $1 million a year, and at least 15 or 17 of those people are making considerably more. Some double what I make, and they even got only in 4 years ago, 3 years ago, some of them. And so it's not that the opportunities, it's been around 20 years. It's kind of late to get started. There's never been a better time to have an opportunity to be successful with LifeWave. And all the systems are working so much better now, like customer service. It's so much more of a substantial company. We're in so many more countries. There's so much more infrastructure and support and excitement. And so you're joining or getting involved right now is the most opportune time to get involved with LifeWave. Your chances of success and having a financial health, I like to call it, there's the physical health, but there's financial health. Having a much more health life in your finances right now, it's never been easier or better or more exciting and easy to do. So anyway, welcome to the team. You're part of an incredible team with Peter and Judy and Corolla, and it's just you've got so much support too on your personal team. So welcome home.
Thank you so much, Kai. But one thing I just wanted to ask for a little correction. I know you said thousands in the beginning. I think you were referring to millions in the beginning.
Millions. I said millions. I thought I said millions.
Yeah,
I meant millions if I didn't say 3 million.
Yeah, you said thousands, but I just wanted to correct that for the record.
It was 3 million. It took 16 years to get to 3 million a month, and in the last 4 years, we've grown to 47 million more a month in the last 4 years.
Perfect. Thank you.
It's all millions.
Thank you for clarifying that, Kai, for the audience.
Thank you for pointing that out. I apologize.
We're in hyper growth right now, and amazing things are happening, and superstars from all walks of life are attracted to LifeWave, and it's a really exciting time to be part of the company. And we've been on a massive patching party tour. We just love the patching party aspect. We're a very product-driven company. We love the product up front. And Rowena, if you could just mute your line, that'd be great. Appreciate that, Rowena. And but we're going to turn it over tonight. Tonight's not about me. It's not about anyone other than you coming here and learning about the integrity of the product, learning how this amazing patch works and what some of the common pitfalls are, the mistakes people make. And Judy has just been so absolutely amazing when it comes to her knowledge, her expertise with understanding the patches. So I want to turn the stage over to our very own health coach and professional. She's a 38-year veteran in the health and wellness industry, and love the backdrop there. Judy, Age Reversing Health, and she's on podcasts and different things, but you're here today, and grab a pen and a paper and welcome Judy Friesen. Take it away, Judy.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Pete, for that great introduction. I really appreciate working with you and to Kai as well. It's just such a pleasure to have a team. And as you always say, we may be in business for ourselves, but not by ourselves. And so I have certainly experienced that over the 4+ years that I've been involved with LifeWave. I can say safely that this has never been anything that I expected that I would run into in all of my years of being a health coach. And now I pretty much exclusively work with LifeWave because I've seen the results. But I also know that over the last 4 or 5 years, I've made some mistakes. I've tried different things, and I really appreciate that I've been able to have the freedom to try these things. But I thought, why not pass along to all of you on this call some areas where I think that I wished someone had told me, don't do this or don't do that. And so I thought it might be fun just to share with you some of the mistakes and some of the solutions. It's no point in talking about negatives if we don't have a positive, right? And so I know that all of you are already pretty much seasoned in LifeWave. You understand the patch technology. You have a basic understanding of how the patches work in the body. So we're not going to talk about the very basics today. What we're going to do is dive right into some of the finer, smaller areas that maybe if you tweaked, you might feel even more confident as you get to meet people and you talk to people. And so let's start off with saying that I've got this document written down. And so if you reach out to Pete, you can get an actual copy of what I'm about to say. If you don't want to take a lot of notes, or if you're not in a position to take notes. So I've actually been saying to Pete that I had, the 3 kind of top mistakes that I think I've done. But I just came back from training a wellness clinic that has over 25 clinicians, chiropractors, physiotherapists, acupuncturists, and functional medicine doctors. And I was just there training the owners of this large clinic. And one more mistake popped up as I was speaking with them and giving them some training. And so I thought, hey, you know what? I might as well add that extra one on. So now we've changed the title of this talk to the top 4 mistakes in patching and the solutions to correct them. So let me start off right away with number 1. The first mistake that I think that I've done or I've seen others do is focusing too much on the right placement. I get calls and texts every day of someone asking me, where to put the patch, where to put the patch. Number 1, we don't want to focus too much on the right placement, because you don't want to have to become me. You want to be you, and you might not have the background of understanding the body or acupuncture points. And you know what? I almost left Lifeway because I was so overwhelmed with trying to catch up with all these Chinese acupuncture points and acupressure points. So let me just say that focusing too much on the right placement is not necessary. Trust the product. David Schmidt has created these patches that when they are close to or on a human body, that infrared heat out of your body goes into that patch and it activates the patch, and the patch will then do its work. So you could actually just guess and put the patch on the end of your nose, and it's still going to help that person's problem. You could put it on the bottom of your feet. You could put it on your little finger. So I'm just trying to say that while we want to know there are a few specific areas that seem to respond really well, David Schmidt has said over and over, the patches will activate no matter where you put them. Now, putting them on certain spots can give you a little extra, and that is very true. But just remember, we want to keep this business duplicatable. So while there are specific placements, the instruction booklets that come with each patch shows the various options. We want to remember the main principle here is the patches are systemic. In other words, no matter where you place them, it goes through every cell of your body, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. So you can't go wrong. So develop your confidence to follow what the instruction booklets say. Maybe put some of the patches, if the person is having a pain in their right shoulder, maybe you can move the X39 right to the shoulder instead of the back of the neck. You can be creative, but trust the patches. If you put that patch on the back of the neck, ultimately the shoulder is going to get the help, as well as the big toe or wherever else there's problems in the body. So be confident that the body will respond and will get the benefit. So that's number 1. Don't focus too much on getting the exact right placement. Now, there are always exceptions, but I'm just going to give you some generic mistakes that I think I made that started to interfere with me being able to duplicate what I was doing with other brand partners that were joining. Number 2, thinking that more patches are better, or that you have to find just that right place to fix the problem. So the number 2 mistake that I learned was thinking that more patches are better, because what happened was it overwhelmed the body, because so many of us have a lot of toxins. And when you put on too many patches, the body just goes into so much detoxification that the person will quit before you even get started, because they're feeling lousy. They got headaches, they've got stomach aches, they got bowel problems. So remember that more patches are not necessarily better. A lot of people that it's the best thing to do is to start with the X39 for 3 months and don't add any other patches other than just the X39 for 3 months. I'm a little bit more in the middle. I kind of say start with the X39 for the first month. We will do weekly calls, maybe for 10 minutes, just to see how they're feeling. And then as they're moving into the second month, they may say to me, I would really like to get even more response. Do you have any other patches that could help this or that symptom? And then I will recommend that they could go ahead and try a second or a third kind of a patch. But I've just learned to keep it uncomplicated and to not overwhelm the body, because most people do not know how to weather the storm of having too many toxins eliminated at one time. And on top of all of that, not only is it hard for your customers or for your new brand partners to weather the storm of detoxification, but it puts pressure on their finances. And even though they ask me, can I get 2 or 3 or 4 other kinds of patches, and they get excited, what happens is a month or 2 later, they'll call me and they say, Judy, I can't continue. And I say, oh, why? And they'll say, I can't afford $500-600 a month. And then I realize that is my mistake. I should have told them, no, I know you really want to get 4 or 5 more different kinds of patches, but let's take it slowly, 1 or 2 at a time, because otherwise they get the misunderstanding that they have to spend $500-600 every month to be healthy. And so we want to help retention, and that is to make sure that we don't put pressure on their finances by letting them get so excited that they buy so much that the next month or 2 they have to stop because they can't afford it. So just to review, number 1, focusing too much on the right placement. Number 2, thinking that more patches are better. That was the second mistake that I made a lot. Number 3, and we will have time for questions, by the way. So write down your questions as we're talking here, because I'm happy to answer any questions you have as I go through these 4 top mistakes that I made. The third mistake that I think I made in the early days was assuming that my customers, my brand partners, were drinking enough water or consuming enough fiber or minerals. Now, a lot of people in LifeWave will be talking about this special kind of salt that you can put a pinch in your water. It's called Celtic salt or Himalayan salt. It's the natural kind of salt, not the iodized that you get at the grocery store, but it's the natural kind of salt because it has many trace minerals. And that goes a long way to helping the patches work better when the body has enough minerals and enough water in the cells. And salt helps the water get into the cells rather than just being in the bloodstream and then you peeing it out as fast as you take it in. So Dr. Barbara Jennings, I was listening to her today, and she really encouraged that the reason for the salt to get those electrolytes in there is not just for the conductivity, but it's also to help the water to enter into the cell rather than just being on the outside of the cell in the bloodstream, because then you'll just pee it out right away. You want it to get into the cell. So assuming the customer is drinking enough water was one of my biggest mistakes, and I'll tell you why. Because when I would say to my new people, drink lots of water, they'd say, yeah, okay, I already do. And what I should have said is, you need to take, for a minimal amount of water consumption, you need to take your weight in pounds, divide that in half, and that's how many ounces minimum you should be drinking. So if you're a 200-pound person, then you need to drink 100 ounces of good, clean, clear water. Now, we won't get into what kind of water, purified, whether it's reverse osmosis or whether it's from a well or whatever. I don't want to get into that. But we really want to make sure that our people are drinking enough water. Well, then my next mistake was, even though I told them that you need to take your pounds, divide it in half, and drink that many ounces of water, what I didn't realize is that people were assuming that they were drinking those 8 or 10 or 11 glasses of water, but they weren't measuring it. So when they came to the end of the day, they scratched their head and they said, maybe I drank enough. So instead, I asked all of my new brand partners and customers for the first week to get to know whether you're drinking enough water is to measure it. So pour out your 100 ounces, let's say a 200-pound person, pour out 100 ounces into some jugs on your counter and see how much that really is. You know, when you might be surprised, most people overestimate how much water they drink. So when they saw the 2 jugs and they contained the total combined water that they need to drink for that day, then they have to start working at it first thing in the morning. Because if they waited until late afternoon and they've got, 80 ounces left to drink, they're never going to be able to drink all that before bedtime. Or what's worse, they try to consume it too fast, they pee it out, and they're kept awake all night long by going to the bathroom. So the idea is to take little sips all throughout the day. And I tell people, make sure you measure out how much water, and then have 4 or 5 places where you tend to be around in your house, by the TV, by the computer, by your kitchen, wherever you are, even in the bathroom. I have someone who told me that every time they sit on the toilet, they drink another glass of water. So have your cups of water all throughout your house, but start off knowing how much does it look like when you put it all out in the morning. The other thing that we recommend is not drinking cold water. Your body has to work too hard to bring it up to 98.6 degrees. So you can drink more water, and I find that it stays in the body and the cells better if you consume your water at room temperature. You can flavor it with mint or with lemon or with orange slices, make it fun, use a straw, try it in different ways. But clear water or clear herb tea will count as your water consumption, but you need to help people to figure out how much water it really is, and then to see if they can make it a game and gradually work up so that every day they're getting the right amount of water, not guessing. That's the problem, is that most of my customers weren't getting the results from the patches because they were guessing at how much water they were drinking, and they were really low. They were not consuming as much as they thought they were. The last and the bonus, number 4 of the top mistakes that I made in my early days, is believing that you have to know the name of the disease to help your people. That is not correct. You do not need to ask or even know the name of the disease or the diagnosis. People will want to tell you, oh, Judy, I just got diagnosed with hyperthyroiditis, or I just got diagnosed with liver disease or whatever. You can gently say to them, the compliant thing is, we're not working with treating or diagnosing or curing diseases in LifeWave. And so tell me the symptoms that you have as a result of that diagnosis. So if someone comes to me and says, Judy, I just found out that I have hyperthyroiditis, then I would say, what are the symptoms that you're feeling? Oh, well, I have cold hands and cold feet, and I can't think, and I've got, a foggy brain. Then you can work with them and you can figure out what would be the best patches to recommend to them once you know the symptoms. And so you want to get them in the habit of not necessarily having to tell you the diagnosis, so that you don't get trapped into thinking that you're actually helping them to cure a disease, because that's not compliant. So the rule of thumb that I recommend is, of course, X39. That is the place to start. But sometimes people have a terrible pain, and they are in so much pain that even with the X39, they're not getting the kind of pain relief that they would like. Now, some people do, but if they don't, then the second patch that I would recommend to go along with X39 is the Ice Wave. That's if they have a lot of pain with their symptoms that they've just told you about. If they don't have a lot of pain, but they do have a diagnosis, then I err to the side of recommending Eon, because everybody pretty much in the world has inflammation. And if you've got inflammation, guess what? When the stem cells come to the site of inflammation, a lot of stem cells get killed off by the inflammation. So we need to tap down or lower the inflammation so that the stem cells can do their job. So I don't want to take too long. It's already at the bottom of the hour, but I have learned over deliver and under promise. That is what you want, is to always over deliver, be there, love them, call them, ask them how much they want in help. So you don't bug them, but that you're over delivering in customer service and love, and you under promise how soon these patches are going to work because everybody's different, and let them call you and say, Judy, I thought you said it's going to take 3 to 6 months, but actually 2 weeks, and I've already got rid of my whatever symptom it is. So I always try now to under promise so that they will be pleasantly surprised by what happens. It's helping them to set their expectations in reality is what I'm really suggesting. So that's the 4 mistakes that I think that I made and some ideas on how to correct them. I think that I should just, if that's okay with you, Pete, I'm not sure how long you wanted this to go, but I am willing and happy to answer any questions that came up from something that I shared, or maybe somebody else in the room has even some better suggestions and ideas. I don't know everything, and I will always keep learning from everybody. So I'm open to a discussion or questions as you wish.
All right. Thank you so much, Judy. As always, it's amazing to hear the expertise and the wisdom that flows from you. So one of the things that I know I could relate to you big time, Judy, was the getting overwhelmed with where to place the patch. That was a big thing for me. And I'm going to give a prime example here today. The barometers shifted. We've had like 5 inches of rain here in the last 24 hours. And you know what happens when the barometer shifts and things start happening. You see this on my finger? That's ice wave. Judy was just talking about it. The white on the right and the 10 on the left. These are the only 2 fingers that were bothering me today. So what did I do? I hydrated and I put ice wave on the fingers that were sort of inflamed, and it's almost like magic. It's moments after you apply, sometimes seconds. The pain is not there, and you can actually close the hand again. And this is an area that I realized in the very beginning, the mistakes that I was making. I wasn't consuming the amount of water. That was a huge problem for me because I wasn't much of a water drinker. Well, coffee's got water in it. I'll just drink the coffee. Well, it's not always what the body needs. It needs that water. And the moment that you do this and you start caring enough about people to say, you know what, you don't get too hung up on where you place the patch. Like Judy says, you can put it anywhere in your body. You're going to get a result. You may get a better result. And that's why I always say to people, move the patch around. I'm going to give an example of that with the tan patch with ice wave. You put it on the point of pain. This is the finger that was really, really bothering me. Put it on the point of pain, and then on the right side of it, put the white to the right. And what I do, if it's on the back or shoulder or wherever it is, I dial the white patch around. I start with 3 o'clock, let's say, to the right of it, 3 o'clock, like a time clock. Then I go to 6 o'clock. I go to 9 o'clock. I come back to 12 o'clock, and all of a sudden, bang, they just instantly notice the difference. Like, wow, I have no pain. I went from a 9 to a 0 or a 1. This is amazing. What's in that patch? And, the conversation really changes. The dynamics change. So don't get too hung up on where to place the patch. Patch people, and even at your parties, like we do these patching parties, we travel around and we have the first 2 people in our audience that raise their hand that they've got some pain. I always like to focus on pain at these patching events, and we always get 2 participants very quickly. And I know Lana's on the call here from Regina, and she'll bear witness to this at the event at Body Fuel Organics in Regina, where we did this. And she had a couple of people instantly raise their hand. One was her mother-in-law. And it was so amazing to see what happened. And this happens all the time. I'm never shocked, but people in the audience are always shocked at how quickly this technology works. And they can't figure out what it is. What photobiomodulation therapy does will absolutely blow your mind. And just have fun with it and get excited about this technology, because you know what? There's nothing like it on planet Earth. There's zero competition with what LifeWave has. So we're in a very unique space right now in the industry, and we're one of the top 50 network marketing companies in the world right now. So that's pretty amazing. And we're #1 in growth. We're #1 in sales momentum. So we've got something here that's really, really special. And we just absolutely love helping people get out of pain. And as Judy's backdrop says, age reversing health. Now, Judy, I also want to give you the opportunity to share how people can get in contact with you if you're sharing this video or anyone's sharing this video and they have specific questions they may want to ask you or get in touch with you. I'll open that up for you if you wish to share something of how people can get a hold of you if they're really interested in reaching out to you.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So mostly I respond the quickest if people will send me a message on WhatsApp. And so that's the easiest way. On occasion, if people happen to have my cell phone number, they can also text me as well as WhatsApp. That's the very best. And then, of course, you know, a quick phone call if it's really urgent. And then if it's not urgent, then even an email is fine too. But WhatsApp is usually my go-to.
Perfect, Judy. And if you feel comfortable typing that into the chat area, those that have questions, some maybe from your own team that wish to reach out, but I want to just let everyone know that please check with your sponsor first. Please check with your upline before you give Judy a call, because most likely they already have the answer to the question that you need answered. So we always want to respect line of sponsorship so that you can go and direct your question to the person that brought you into the business. Now, I also want to turn it over for a quick few questions before we end the recording. And I know we've got Tanya on the line here. And Tanya, I just may put you on the spot right here. You've been so dynamic. She's in Shelley Bates's group. So I would love for you to unmute, Tanya, if you could, and share a little energy at what's happening. You just became manager and it happened so fast. Shelley became director. I think there's 3 managers and 1 director in this little group already, and they're just absolutely on fire. So Tanya, if you'd be so kind and unmute, I'd love to hear a few words from you.
I'll take you away from Lilo and Stitch. I'm watching the grandsons.
Oh, there you go.
I'll step outside. It's a beautiful sunny day. Yeah, it's been amazing. It's oh gosh, the Yorkton event was, I think, I don't know, what was there in the end, 12 signups, and people are signing up in those groups. And then Dauphin was, I think, 3 or 4. Swan River was 3 or 4. That was all in a 4-day cap, and it's just a whirlwind. We're taking a break. We're doing our other jobs and trying to just contact everybody who's enrolled and make sure they know what they're doing, have their proper email addresses. It was a very steep, quick learning curve over the last week, that's for sure. But it's good. It's amazing. I don't even know what else I can say, Pete. I'm so grateful for the whole bunch. You know, you and Hannah both, and Judy, I know I've reached out to you once or twice on a couple things, and everyone's always there for everyone, and it's amazing, the team. Even if they're not in your own downlines or up, you know, most of everybody's in our line somewhere along the way, but it's just amazing the support that this has become. And never in my life, you know, after being in a few of the different other MLMs, but you know, this is different. It's not even that anymore. It's just word of mouth, and people can't wait to get their hands on it. We find now that the more people are using it, that, you know, your tips, I didn't catch the first part, Judy. I do hope to catch the recording here. So, and it's true, because people are not drinking the amount of water we should. And we've had a few people come back and say, how come they're not working as good as they were the first couple of days? So it's searching for those results now and educating ourselves on new topics. And it's great because there's so much to learn. So again, thank you everyone for your guidance, and we'll see what happens next. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Tanya. I appreciate you, and you've got
No
a great
problem.
coach there with Shelley Bates and your whole team there. But one final question for you,
Sure.
Tanya, is
Yeah.
what were the biggest results when you applied the patches? What's the first thing you noticed? I just want to focus on that. What's the first thing maybe that you noticed from the patch when you started?
The X39 for me was pain. I had a lot of pain in my knees and my hips. I couldn't squat down to pick up the berries that I was where I was working and doing stuff like that in the garden. I couldn't get off the couch without helping or out of the car. I also work a job driving, so I'm extended hours driving. So that was very difficult, and my ankle would swell during that. And Shelly gave me these patches, and she says, try these. And I'm like, okay, I'll try them. So I wore them, and they fell off because I was sweating so much in the garden and the strawberry patch where I was working. And So I started wearing them at night because my knee was hurting me and waking me up through the night. So she contacted me about 4 days after I was using them, and I kind of was being on the cheap side. And, I was, I think I could just stretch it that much further. And this was a good point about using and consistency. But she phoned me and she says, how are you finding wearing the patches? Do you notice a difference? Those were her words. And I said, well, Shelley, I said, I don't really notice a difference wearing the patches, but I'll tell you, where not wearing the patches, I noticed the difference. So it was good for me to have stopped for the couple of days to actually notice how much of a change there actually was in the pain level. That was the first initial one. If you have time for one more, Pete, I'll say about my allergies.
One more for sure.
Okay, I'll make it quick. I got stung by a wasp. I already have an issue with high level of histamines acting in my body. And of course, my pizza's here. Anyway, got stung on the bum cheek with a wasp, but checking it after putting patches on it for a day or two, I noticed that watching this spot decrease in size and everything, pain instantly was gone with the X39 when I stuck it on there. But the cellulite on the top of my leg there, and it was going away. And it's like, I would have never looked at that spot or taken a picture and noticed that was happening with just wearing the X39 and the A on all the time. I'm just going to get paid for my pizza at the same time.
Beautiful, Tanya. Well, thank you.
I'm a grandmother, I'm the chef, and I'm on this call.
Congratulations. I know you've
So
got
yeah, very
a flurry of
interesting.
activity.
When they say write down a list and take pictures of every body part, do it, because you just never know where it's going to show up and do its work. It's awesome.
Thank you so much, Tanya. I appreciate you so much. And we'll see you guys again very soon on the next party tour.
Wonderful.
Anyone else in the audience that we're going to end the recording here? We'll take time for one more dynamic testimony. If anybody out there has a story that they'd love to share, maybe a different story, something or a question, maybe even before we end the recording. I got room for one more here if somebody is willing to step up to the plate and share. And if not, don't be camera shy, guys. You don't even have to have the camera on to share your story. But I'd love to hear from one more. Judy, do you have any final words before we end the call, Judy?
Sure, if there's no one else that wants to chime in, yeah, I would say that the must things to do, not mistakes, but what are the to-dos? And Tanya mentioned a couple of them that I just didn't think I had time to go over. And that is be consistent and help your people be consistent with wearing the patch regularly, not just every so often. Number two, make sure you get them to use the health tracker sheet so that they can write down all the changes, because I guarantee you'll forget all the little things that improved in a year from now. And then number three, call often to your people just to show them you care, because when you open up the conversation, then they'll start to be open with you and they'll start saying, I've been having trouble. My patches have been falling off and I didn't want to bother you about that, Judy, or I called the company and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And so calling often just to check in with your people in a consistent way, you can head off a lot of problems that might cause them to throw up their hands in frustration. And one of them is they don't put the patches on the right way. They don't stick them on. They don't seal the edges, or they put them on right after their shower when their skin is way too wet and moist, or they have oily skin and they don't realize they need to clean that area. So be consistent, use the health tracker, and call often. That's my final parting words.
Well, thank you so much, Judy. I appreciate you as always. Always great to learn from you. And for those of you that are in Canada, I just want to share the dates for the Canadian Roadshow. And this is an event that you do not want to miss. October 26th, it all begins in Toronto. October 28th in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And we're going to have Gregory Mascari with us here in Winnipeg. October 30th is Edmonton. And November 1 is British Columbia, Vancouver. So, and Judy will be there herself. So if you have any guests in the area, it's not just for brand partners. You can register your guests. bring them as well. And I will guarantee you, your business will flourish. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here, and we'll see you on the very next first Tuesday of the month call, which is early October, and Judy won't be there. She'll be in Japan, and just enjoying what she does and loves to do is travel. So again, thanks everyone for being here, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye, everybody.